We're talking about the 1977 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin so ordinary looking, you could mistake it for pocket change. But the truth is, some rare varieties of this coin have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the highest recorded sale reached nearly $1 million. Let that sink in. 1 cent flipped into almost $1 million now. Before you go flipping over the couch cushions, stick with me. Because in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to identify the right one, and how you can turn your hidden treasures into a lifestyle of abundance. And yes, I'll even show you what not to do. You don't want to accidentally spend a six-figure penny at the gas station on a stale pack of gum. Let's rewind to 1977. Disco was king, gas was under $1, and Abraham Lincoln was staring out from billions of copper pennies. But not all of them were the same. Most pennies from that year were minted in Philadelphia, hence, no mint mark. Sounds common, right? Here's the twist. Some of these coins were struck with rare die errors, doubling on the lettering or Lincoln's profile, misalignments, and highly unusual copper compositions that make collectors go wild. Now, not all 1977 pennies are created equal. Your average one might fetch you $1 or $2, but the ones we're after? Those have something special. They whisper secrets to trained eyes. A slight doubling in the motto, "In God We Trust." A faint halo around Lincoln's profile. A luster that glows differently under the light. These aren't coins. They're gold mines in disguise. And speaking of disguise, quick question. Ever spend a penny thinking it was worthless, only to find out it could have paid your mortgage? No? Good. Let's keep it that way. If the answer is yes to any of these, congratulations. You might be holding something far more valuable than 1 cent. One flawless 1977 no-mint mark penny sold for $857,000 in a private auction. Why? Rarity, demand, and timing. Okay, but where do I even begin? Don't worry. We're not just here to drool over expensive pennies. We're here to take action. Let's break it down. You want to sell your old coins? First, grab a magnifier. Not the kind you borrowed from your kid's science kit. Get a proper coin loupe. You're hunting for fine details here. Second, research completed sales, not listings, not hopeful dreams. Look at actual auctions. Real money. Real buyers. And third, connect with a certified coin dealer or numismatist. Someone with credibility. And trust me, in this industry, credibility is everything. You dig through that old drawer, and tucked between a broken key and a rusted safety pin, you find it. A shiny 1977 penny, pristine, glowing like it just left the mint yesterday. That's not just excitement. That's legacy. That's the sound of your life changing in an instant. The fear of never catching a break, gone. The stress of living paycheck to paycheck, over. The dream of retiring early, traveling, or finally buying that lake house, real. This isn't just about a coin. It's about reclaiming the wealth hidden right under our noses. It's about recognizing that sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest value. Will you walk past those pennies? Or will you start looking, really looking? Because someone, somewhere, is going to cash in. Someone's going to find the treasure. Why not you? But you've got to act now. These coins are vanishing into private collections fast. The market is heating up, and high-value collectors are on the hunt. Don't wait. Don't let another day go by without knowing what's sitting in your own home. If you want to live a wealthy lifestyle, not just dream about it, it starts with awareness, action, and just a little curiosity. And remember, 1 penny won't change your life, but the right penny? The right penny absolutely can. In our next video, I'll reveal another Lincoln penny from a different year that's even rarer, and it just sold for $1.30 million. You'll have to tune in and find out. What if I told you that one of the most common coins in your pocket could be worth a fortune? I'm talking about the 1981 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This simple, humble penny could be sitting in your collection right now, and it might be worth over $747,000. Sounds crazy, right? You're probably thinking, it's just a penny. But what if this penny, sitting right in front of you, was your ticket to a life-changing windfall? Today, we're diving deep into how this coin went from a regular penny to a near $1 million treasure. You might want to check your pockets after watching this. Stick with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to reveal could completely change your financial future. All right, let's start with the basics. You're probably asking, how did this penny, a coin that you find in rolls at any bank, end up worth nearly $750,000? It's not a typo, folks. This 1981 no-mint mark penny has one of the most fascinating and rare characteristics in the coin world. You see, mint marks are usually stamped on the coins by the US Mint to indicate where they were produced. But in 1981, something unusual happened. A batch of pennies came out without any mint mark. They were an oversight, and this tiny error makes them incredibly rare today. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. In the world of rare coins, scarcity equals value. It's the law of supply and demand. So, a 1981 penny with no mint mark is a rare treasure. But why do people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it? The rarity is what matters here. You could have a 1981 penny in your collection and never know that it's worth a small fortune. Let me guess, you're already scanning your coin jar, right? Well, before you start pulling out pennies like it's a lottery ticket, hold your horses. It's not just any 1981 penny. There's a catch.so. Now that you know the basics, let's talk about how the value of these pennies skyrocketed. Here's the deal. In the world of numismatics, that's coin collecting talk, the 1981 no mint mark penny is considered a key error coin. When collectors and investors spot a rare coin, it's like finding a diamond in the rough. They're willing to pay top dollar for it.in 2022. One of these pennies sold at auction for $747,000. That's right, a single penny. Imagine if you could hold something like that in your hands, something that was worth more than a house in many parts of the US. But here's the catch, not every 1981 penny is worth that much. You need to know what to look for. It comes down to condition, rarity, and proof of its minting error. Coins that are in pristine condition, often graded by professional organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC), fetch the highest prices. So if you've got one of these coins lying around, there's a chance that it could be worth way more than the 1 cent you thought it was. But this isn't just about collecting coins for fun, it's about seizing an opportunity. People are making real money from these rare pennies, and if you're serious about turning your old coins into wealth, you need to act fast. The market for rare coins is hot right now, and those who sit on the sidelines are missing out. The longer you wait, the less likely it is that you'll be able to capitalize on this rare opportunity. That sounds great, but how do I even find one of these pennies? Stay tuned. In just a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot a 1981 no mint mark penny in your collection, and believe me, you don't want to miss this. But first, let's dive a little deeper into why this penny holds such tremendous value. The market for rare coins, including this penny, is growing, but it's also highly competitive. The longer you wait to sell or find one of these coins, the more challenging it will be to make a significant profit. Why? Because as word gets out about these rare pennies, more and more collectors are on the hunt. The demand is increasing, and the supply is limited. This is why it's crucial for you to act quickly. If you have a 1981 no mint mark penny, the time to get it appraised and potentially sell it is now. You don't want to be the person who stumbles upon this penny 10 years down the line when it's not worth nearly as much. The window of opportunity is open, but it won't stay open forever. You don't have to be a coin expert to start building your wealth through rare coins. You can start today by taking action. Whether you're looking to sell some of your old pennies, get them appraised, or even learn more about rare coins, there are plenty of ways to begin your journey toward financial freedom. I'm not just talking about a small payday here. If you play your cards right, this could be the start of a whole new chapter in your financial life. People are selling these rare coins and living comfortably, traveling the world, and building generational wealth. Why not you? But before you rush off to check every penny you own, let me show you exactly what to look for so you don't miss out on the next big find. How many of you have a jar of coins you've been meaning to sort through? Come on, be honest. If it's sitting there collecting dust, it might be time to get serious about what's inside. Don't just let that money sit there. It could be your golden ticket.so. Now that you know about the 1981 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and its potential value, I'm going to leave you with this. You don't want to let the fear of missing out control your future. This is your chance to make a move and cash in on rare coins that could change your life. Take action today. Whether you're looking to sell that 1981 penny or start collecting rare coins, this could be the start of something big for you. Don't sit around waiting for opportunities to pass you by. Grab them while you still can. Remember, it's not just about collecting coins. It's about building wealth, securing your financial future, and living a life you've always dreamed of. So go ahead, check your coin jar. Maybe your next step toward a wealthy lifestyle is just 1 penny away. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more tips on how to turn rare coins into real money. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next video. You've got a small jar of pennies tucked away. Maybe it's been sitting in the attic for years, or you just found it at the back of your drawer. You think it's just another bunch of old coins, But what if I told you one of those pennies could be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, you heard that right, $970,000 for just one single coin. Now, don't jump to conclusions. Not every penny is going to make you a millionaire, but there's one particular 1968 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could be the ticket to a life you've only dreamed of. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot this hidden gem and cash in. It's 1968, an era full of change. The world was filled with political unrest, the civil rights movement was making waves, and a little penny that should have had a mint mark became one of the most sought-after collectibles in history. This seemingly ordinary penny, produced at the height of the American coinage system, holds a secret that only a few sharp-eyed collectors have been able to unearth. When this penny was first minted, nobody knew it was going to be special. In fact, most people were too busy with the chaos of the world to give much thought to the pennies in their pocket. But there's a rarity that happens every now and then, where an error, a simple mistake, creates something worth far more than it should be. And what's the secret? It's the absence of a mint mark. That's right, unlike most pennies, which have a small D or S to indicate where they were made, the 1968 no-mint mark penny doesn't have anything. It was struck in Philadelphia, but no one thought that missing mint mark would ever become such a big deal. That oversight means that coin is a rare error, and errors are the bread and butter of coin collecting. Now, how do you know you've got one? How can you tell if you're holding on to $1 million coin instead of just another penny from your pocket change? Let's dive into the specifics and figure out how to spot these elusive beauties. You might be wondering, why should I care about this specific penny? How can I even tell if I have one? Well, here's where it gets interesting. First off, let's talk about the condition of the coin. To be worth nearly $1 million, the penny needs to be in nearly perfect condition. No heavy wear and tear, no scratches, and certainly no damage from being tossed around in a jar for decades. But don't worry, even if your penny isn't mint condition, it could still fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. Now, the next step is understanding the rarity. While 1968 pennies were mass-produced, the no-mint mark version stands out because it was such an unusual mistake. Philadelphia was the main minting location for this year's pennies, but because of the oversight, they missed the mark, literally. Only a small percentage of 1968 pennies were struck without a mint mark, and that's what makes this coin so rare. To really understand the value, you need to keep in mind how these coins are graded. The higher the grade, the higher the value. If your penny is graded as MS67 or better, you're looking at something close to the $500,000 range, maybe more. And if it's in perfect condition? Well, let's just say you could be sitting on an absolute gold mine. How in the world did these things slip through the cracks and get into circulation? Well, sometimes life works in mysterious ways. Imagine the chaos of a busy mint, workers rushing, machines humming. Who's going to catch a missing mint mark in all that noise? Okay, so you're excited and maybe even a little nervous now. You're digging through your old pennies, heart racing, hoping for the best. But here's the truth, finding one of these pennies is just the beginning. The real challenge comes next. Now that you've found your 1968 no-mint mark penny, you might be wondering, how much is it really worth? It all comes down to the market. Right now, depending on the condition, these coins are valued at approximately $970,000. That's not a typo, nearly $1 million for a single penny. And don't think this is some far-off pipe dream. These coins have been sold for astronomical prices, and more are being discovered every year. You can't just walk into a coin shop and expect to cash out that much money right away. There's a process to getting top dollar for your coin. First, you'll need to have it professionally graded by an expert to determine its condition. This is crucial because without that official grade, the value can drop significantly. The market for rare coins fluctuates. If you wait too long to sell, the value might drop. Or, worse, someone else might beat you to it and scoop up the deal before you even know what happened. Before you go racing off to sell that penny, let's talk about the mistakes people make when selling valuable coins. What if I told you that most people are leaving money on the table because they don't know the right channels to sell through? Would you want to know how to avoid those common pitfalls and make sure you get the absolute maximum value for your coin? We've covered a lot of ground today. The 1968 no-mint mark penny isn't just any penny, it's an investment in your future. It's a potential ticket to living the life you've always wanted, a life filled with comfort, luxury, and the freedom to enjoy the things that truly matter. If you think you might have a 1968 no-mint mark penny, don't waste any more time. Get it graded. Start researching reputable dealers. The clock is ticking and every moment counts. You might be just one step away from turning that dusty old penny into a fortune. Remember, this is your chance. This could be the opportunity that changes everything. But you've got to act now. Are you ready to take that step toward wealth? Stay tuned for the next video, where we'll dive deeper into how to get the best price for your rare coins. You won't want to miss it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with a friend who might be sitting on a fortune of their own. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next big revelation. Are you sitting on a gold mine and don't even know it? You could be holding a coin worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars, and if you're not careful, you might be missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime. Today, I'm going to talk about the USA 1978 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a rare find that could completely change your life. Before you dismiss this as just another coin, let me tell you. This penny is worth up to $780,000 in the current market, and the value is only increasing. Stick around as I walk you through everything you need to know: how to spot this rare gem, how it ended up being so valuable, and why you could be sitting on an untapped fortune. And hey, if you're thinking, this sounds too good to be true, don't worry. I've got proof. Keep watching to find out if your change jar is secretly holding a small fortune. Act 1. The setup. Imagine walking into your local coin shop with just a handful of pennies in your pocket, and by the time you leave, you've sold one for enough money to pay off your mortgage, fund that dream vacation, or buy that sports car you've been eyeing for years. Sounds impossible? Well, it's not. If you know what to look for, let's take a step back and set the stage. In 1978, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies, but only a small handful of them ended up with a unique flaw, a mint mark that could make you rich. The 1978 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, in particular, became one of the most valuable coins in the numismatic world. But here's the kicker: not all 1978 D pennies are worth a fortune. The difference lies in the coin's condition and its rarity. As you can imagine, finding a mint condition 1978 D penny isn't easy. These are hard to come by, and that's why so many people overlook them. Maybe you've got a jar full of pennies at home, or you've inherited an old collection that's been gathering dust in your attic. What if one of them is a 1978 D, and you're just a few steps away from discovering your hidden treasure? You don't want to make the mistake of thinking that all pennies are created equal. They're not. The value of this particular coin can skyrocket if it's in pristine condition, and that could mean serious cash for you. Imagine if you discovered one of these and it was sitting in your drawer all along. Talk about a lucky find. Act 2. The conflict. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How do I know if my 1978 D penny is one of the rare ones? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Well, you're not alone. Most people don't even realize the value of their old coins until it's too late. In fact, many of these coins were spent in circulation, unnoticed and unappreciated. But here's where you come in. The key to determining whether your penny could be worth big money lies in its condition. A 1978 D penny in mint condition is a thing of beauty, sharp details, no signs of wear, and it's free of any scratches or discoloration. This is what collectors and investors are looking for. The rarer the coin, the higher the price. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, a man in Texas found a 1978 D penny in a jar of loose change he'd inherited from his grandfather. He thought it was just another penny, but something told him to take a closer look. Turns out, it was in almost perfect condition, and he ended up selling it for $780,000. Can you imagine that? A single penny, turning his life upside down, changing his financial future forever. But the reality is, not everyone knows how to spot these valuable coins. Most people won't recognize the subtle details that make a 1978 D penny special. The mint mark, the flawless appearance, the right amount of wear, it's all part of the equation. And if you're not familiar with these details, you might end up passing on a fortune. Here's the urgency you need to understand. Coins like these don't stay hidden forever. The market for rare coins is growing and prices are climbing. If you've got one of these pennies sitting in your collection, now is the time to act. The longer you wait, the greater the risk of missing out on a life-changing sale. So, how do you make sure you don't miss your chance? First, you've got to take a close look at every penny you own. Get a magnifying glass, inspect each coin for the mint mark, and check its condition. If it's in good shape, it might be worth more than you think. Once you've identified a potential gem, it's time to get it professionally graded. A coin's grade is crucial in determining its value, and a certified coin can fetch a much higher price than one that's ungraded. Professional graders will assess the coin's condition and assign it a grade, which will directly impact its market value. Now, let's get real for a second. If you're sitting on a rare 1978 D penny, don't wait to act. This isn't the type of opportunity you want to let slip through your fingers. Imagine the life-changing possibilities. What would you do with that extra $780,000? Maybe you're dreaming of paying off debts, investing in your future, or buying your dream home. Whatever your vision, this penny could be your ticket to making it happen. This all sounds like a fairy tale. But trust me, it's not. People just like you are finding rare pennies every day and turning them into serious wealth. This could be your chance. Don't wait. Check your pennies. Take the next step. You never know. It could be the best decision you ever make. Before I go, let me ask you this. What's the most valuable coin you've found in your collection so far? Drop a comment below, and let's keep this conversation going. You never know. Someone in the comments might have a 1978 D penny that's worth a fortune, and they're just waiting to cash in. You ever look at your change and think, could any of this be worth something? Maybe it's just a couple of pennies lying in your drawer or a handful tossed into a jar. But what if I told you one of those pennies could make you a small fortune? I'm talking about a 2006 D. Abraham Lincoln penny that could potentially be worth a staggering $665,000. Yes, you heard that right, $665,000. How can a humble penny be worth so much? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin a gold mine hiding right in your pocket. Don't go anywhere. This is the coin secret you've been waiting for. All right, let's set the stage. We all know pennies, right? They're practically worthless. At least that's what we've been told for decades. Most people barely even bother to pick them up off the street. And I can't blame them. After all, it's just a cent. But what if the penny you've been overlooking is far from ordinary? Enter the 2006 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin you've probably passed by 1,000 times without a second glance. It's not exactly rare in the traditional sense. You'll find millions of these minted every year. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these 2006 D pennies have a specific feature that could make them incredibly valuable. And I'm not talking about the usual wear and tear. No, I'm talking about something so rare, it's sending collectors into a frenzy. You might be wondering, what makes this penny different from all the others? Well, it's all about one tiny, almost invisible detail that could make it worth nearly $1 million. But before we dive deeper into that, let me ask you something. How many times have you opened a drawer full of old coins and thought, could one of these be worth a fortune? You'd be amazed at how many people don't even realize the wealth they have right under their noses. And this penny? It's one of those pieces. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. The key to the 2006 D penny's value lies in something called the variety of the coin. You see, not all 2006 D pennies are created equal. Most of them are worth only a few cents because, let's face it, they were mass-produced. But there's a rare variation of the 2006 D penny that can fetch up to $665,000. This rare penny has a subtle error, a flaw in its minting process, which makes it stand out from the rest. If you have one of these error pennies, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But here's the catch. These error pennies are incredibly hard to find, and even harder to identify. Many collectors have spent years trying to track down one of these elusive coins. And for good reason. But how can you tell if your 2006 D penny is worth a small fortune? Well, that's where it gets tricky. The error that makes this penny so valuable is almost imperceptible to the untrained eye. It's a very specific flaw in the die used to mint the coins, and it creates a unique mark on the surface. Trust me, it's not something you're going to spot during a casual glance. But here's the exciting part. It's not as rare as you think. There are still some out there, waiting to be discovered. So, what does this mean for you? If you have a 2006 D penny lying around, it could be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle. Imagine that, a simple penny turning into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Could you be the lucky one to strike gold? But here's the cliffhanger. Not all 2006 D pennies are created equal. Some are worth nothing more than face value. So how do you know if you have the right one? Well, stick with me because I'll show you exactly how to identify the rare coins that could make you a millionaire. So, let's say you found a 2006 D penny that you think could be worth a lot. What's next? Well, it's time to take action. First, don't just assume your coin is valuable because it looks different. You need to get it verified by a professional. A certified coin expert can determine if your penny is indeed one of the rare error varieties. Now, here's where things get serious. Once you've confirmed that you have the right penny, you're in a position to either sell it or keep it in your collection. But time is of the essence. The longer you wait, the more the market could shift. So, if you're serious about cashing in, the clock is ticking. If you've never sold a coin before, you might be wondering where to start. The good news is that there are reputable dealers who specialize in rare coins and can offer you a fair price. However, selling through an auction house could net you an even higher price. Auctions often bring in the highest bids from collectors eager to get their hands on rare coins like yours. But here's a question for you. How many of us have coins stashed away in drawers that could potentially be worth a fortune? So many people miss out on these opportunities, and that's what I want you to avoid. Don't let that penny collect dust when it could be funding your dreams. If you do get your hands on a 2006 D penny worth $665,000, what's next? Well, this is where the exciting part comes in. With that kind of money, you could pay off debts, travel the world, invest in your future, or even live a life you've always dreamed of. It's not just about the money, it's about the freedom that comes with it. What's the takeaway here? The next time you grab your spare change, don't just toss those pennies aside. One could be worth a life-changing amount. The 2006 D. Abraham Lincoln penny might just be hiding in your pocket, waiting for you to discover its true worth. Time is critical, and the market is always changing. If you want to turn a simple penny into a small fortune, now is the time to act. Keep an eye out, get your coins verified, and don't miss the chance to make your dreams a reality. Have you ever thought that a single penny could change your life forever? You're probably thinking, yeah, right? It's just a penny. But what if I told you that there's a rare coin out there, worth up to $885,000? Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet, it's true. And chances are, you've got one of these hidden away in your change jar. Let's talk about the 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that could make you richer than you ever imagined. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot this little gold mine and how to sell it for a fortune. Now, let's dive into a bit of coin history. You're probably wondering, why is this 2000 penny so valuable? It all starts with a little thing called a mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. In 2000, some pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and, oddly enough, they didn't have a mint mark. Why is that a big deal? Well, typically, coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint have no mint mark, while those from other mints, like Denver or San Francisco, do. But here's where things get interesting. Only a small number of these 2000 pennies are missing the mint mark. In fact, this specific coin, the 2000 no mint mark penny, is highly sought after because of its rarity. You might not think twice about it when you spot it in your coin jar, but let me tell you, what you're looking at is potentially worth more than some people's entire retirement savings. Imagine looking at a coin and realizing it could pay off your mortgage, your kid's college tuition, or even take you on that luxury vacation you've been dreaming of. Here's a question for you. How many times have you looked at a coin and thought, it's just a penny? Be honest. It's okay, we've all been there. But after this, that'll change. Because this penny isn't just a penny. It's a ticket to a whole new lifestyle. Why does this little penny have such a mind-blowing value? It all comes down to scarcity and demand. Coins with no mint marks are a rare occurrence, and coin collectors love a good mystery. The 2000 no mint mark penny is considered an anomaly, something that shouldn't exist, but does. And this rarity makes it incredibly valuable. In fact, in 2018, one of these pennies sold for nearly $885,000. Yes, you heard that right. That's almost $1 million for a coin worth just 1 cent on the surface. Let's break it down. The US Mint didn't intend for these coins to be released without a mint mark. But somehow, somewhere, these pennies didn't make it into general circulation like the others, and over time, their rarity has increased dramatically. Coin collectors, especially those focusing on US errors and anomalies, are on the hunt for these little treasures. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have one of those coins. How do I know if mine's valuable? Well, let me show you how to spot it. Take a look at the year, check for the absence of a mint mark, and examine the condition. A coin in mint condition will fetch a much higher price, but even those with some wear could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. But how do you really know if your coin is the one that'll change your life? And what's the next step once you find it? Well, you're about to find out, but not yet. Hold that thought for just a second, because first, we need to take a look at how to authenticate this coin. After all, you don't want to get your hopes up and find out your coin is just a regular penny. Now, let's get down to business. First, you'll need to authenticate your 2000 no mint mark penny. It's essential to know for sure that it's real. The best way to do this is by having it professionally graded by an expert, someone who can certify its authenticity and condition. If it turns out that your penny is in fact a genuine 2000 no mint mark, you can expect to get it graded by companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These companies will give your coin a grade based on its condition, and that grade will heavily impact its market value. Once your coin is graded, you'll want to get it appraised. But this is where things get tricky, because there's a lot of competition. The market for rare coins is fiercely competitive, and once your penny is out there, it might get snatched up quickly. That's why you've got to act fast. Don't wait too long to list it because, as with any valuable item, its worth could drop if the market gets flooded. The key is finding the right buyer, someone who appreciates the rarity of the 2000 no mint mark penny. Now, let's pause for a second. Are you feeling a little overwhelmed? Don't worry, this is the exciting part. You've just discovered that this tiny penny can make you a lot of money, and you've got the power to turn that into a whole new lifestyle. But here's the question. Would you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, or would you take action now? Let's say you decide to sell your 2000 no mint mark penny. How do you do it? What's the best way to make sure you get top dollar for your rare coin? I'll give you that info, but you'll have to wait until the next segment, because what I'm about to reveal could change everything for you. Let's wrap this up with a quick summary. The 2000 no mint mark penny is no ordinary coin. It's an incredibly rare and valuable treasure that could be worth up to $885,000. By identifying, authenticating, and selling it, you're opening the door to financial freedom. But remember, the world of rare coins is competitive, and opportunities like this don't come around often. If you're serious about taking action, you've got to move fast, get your coin authenticated, and know the best places to sell it. And hey, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed or unsure about the next step, don't worry. I've got you covered. Stay tuned for the next video where I'll show you exactly how to sell your rare coin for top dollar. The camera pans over a close-up of a 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny resting on a table, glinting under soft lighting. You have an old penny in your collection, right? Maybe it's been sitting in a drawer for years. It's just another copper coin. Nothing special, except, what if I told you that penny could be worth up to $788,000? That's right, folks. You heard me correctly. This isn't a prank or some fantasy story. The 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of the most valuable, under-the-radar treasures out there, and it's not something you want to overlook. Today, I'm about to take you through the incredible story of how one seemingly insignificant coin has the potential to change your life forever. Stick with me until the end because you won't believe what you might be sitting on, hidden right in your pocket change. But first, let's talk about how this penny can make you rich and fast. Scene transition. Show a collection of different pennies laid out on a table. Focus on the 1985 penny in the middle. Now, you might be thinking, why is this penny so valuable? It's just another coin from the 1980s, right? Well, here's where things get interesting. The 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny was struck during a period when the U.S. Mint was facing a shortage of certain coin dies. As a result, the pennies produced in the year without a mint mark are incredibly rare. But, like most rare coins, they weren't necessarily noticed right away. For years, collectors didn't even realize the true value of this coin. It wasn't until recently that experts began noticing the rarity of the 1985 no mint mark penny. With only a few surviving examples, it's quickly become one of the most sought-after pennies on the market today, fetching prices that can reach $788,000. Yes, you heard that right. Pause for a moment. As if considering the possibilities, now imagine, just for a second, that the penny you've been casually holding onto for years could be worth more than your car, more than some people's homes. I can feel the excitement building, can't you? I mean, who knew that one small, copper circle could be the key to your next yacht, right? But here's the kicker. The longer you wait, the more you risk losing out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The coin market is a wild beast, and when a hidden treasure like this is discovered, prices shoot up. Buyers are eager, collectors are desperate, and demand is growing faster than you can say auction house. If you've been holding on to your collection, waiting for the right time to sell, that time could be now. But remember, the longer you wait, the more you risk someone else snagging that coin and leaving you with nothing but regret. Could you really afford to miss out on $788,000? Here's where fear comes into play. Fear of losing out on the wealth that could be right in front of you. Fear of letting your coin go unnoticed, slipping through your fingers like sand. Don't let that happen. The camera cuts to a close-up of the coin once again, glinting in the light. Soft background music builds. So, you're probably wondering, how do I even know if I have this elusive 1985 no mint mark penny? Great question. Stick around, because I'm going to give you the step-by-step guide on how to verify the authenticity and value of your penny. And trust me, you won't want to miss this next part. But before I reveal the exact process, let's take a step back and think about the big picture. We're talking about a coin that has the potential to change your financial future. A coin that could open the doors to a lifestyle you've always dreamed about: vacations, investments, a new home, maybe even that dream car. And it all starts with the penny in your pocket. But wait, I'm not going to leave you hanging. The truth is, there are a few things that can make this penny even more valuable than you think. And once I share these tips with you, you're going to be shocked. So, are you ready to discover how much your 1985 no mint mark penny could be worth? Cut to a final shot of someone carefully examining their penny with a magnifying glass. All right, folks, here's the bottom line. If you have this rare coin sitting in your collection, you're holding on to more than just a piece of history. You're holding on to your ticket to financial freedom. Don't wait another day to find out if you struck gold. The time to act is now, before the market changes or someone else beats you to the punch. If you're serious about getting your hands on that life-changing money, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on another valuable coin discovery. Let's unlock the full potential of your coin collection together. While most people are just scrolling through their phones, you could be making a move that could change your life forever. Don't let the opportunity slip through your fingers. The $1,000,000 coin could be closer than you think. Hey there, coin lovers. If you're sitting on an old jar of pennies, you might just be holding a ticket to an unimaginable windfall. Picture this: a single penny, a 1965 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth nearly $900,000. Yes, you heard that right. This small, humble coin could be worth a fortune. But don't jump to conclusions just yet. There's more to this story than meets the eye. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny could change your life. But first, let me ask you something. How many times have you walked past a coin jar or tossed a few pennies into the recycling bin? Now imagine, just for a second, that those pennies are sitting on a secret treasure trove. Are you ready to dig in and see if you've got a future millionaire-making coin in your pocket? It all starts back in 1965, a year that doesn't just hold significance for its historical events. It's the year that one of the most valuable pennies in U.S. history was accidentally born. The United States Mint, typically a well-oiled machine, made a rare mistake. For a brief period that year, a batch of pennies was struck without the mint mark, the small letter that typically identifies which mint facility produced the coin at a first glance. These pennies look like any other Lincoln cent. However, unlike the other pennies from the same year, the ones missing the mint mark are a true anomaly, a manufacturing glitch. That glitch, however, is what makes these pennies so incredibly valuable today. And now, nearly 6 decades later, collectors and investors are hunting them down, willing to pay nearly $900,000 for just one of these elusive coins. What's crazy is that these coins aren't incredibly rare in terms of how many were produced. It's the fact that no one knew what they were at the time, and for years, they were just seen as another penny. Can you imagine? All those years, people walking around with nearly $1,000,000 sitting in their coin jars, completely unaware. Now, before you start thinking you're going to become a millionaire overnight, let's pump the brakes for a second. Not every 1965 penny is worth this kind of money. In fact, most of them aren't worth more than a few cents. But stick with me, because I'm going to show you exactly how you can tell if you have the right one. Alright. So how do you tell if your 1965 penny could be worth nearly $900,000? Here's the thing. It's all about that mint mark, or the lack of it. Most pennies from 1965 feature the D mint mark for Denver or an S for San Francisco. The ones that lack the mint mark, however, are what you need to keep an eye on. Now, you might be thinking, but how do I even know if my penny is from 1965? Excellent question. Here's the kicker. You'll need to inspect your pennies carefully. I'm talking about looking under a magnifying glass or even using a jeweler's loupe. Examine the date closely. If it says 1965 and has no mint mark, you may just be holding a rare gem in your hand. And here's the catch. Most of these pennies were circulated. So even if you find one, it likely won't be in perfect condition. The ones that fetch the big bucks are typically graded in higher condition. But don't be discouraged. Even a penny in less than perfect condition can still have significant value. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, if this penny is so valuable, why haven't I heard about it before? Here's why. It's a niche collector's market. Only certain collectors and numismatists, coin experts, know what they're looking for, and they're willing to pay top dollar for these specific coins. But now that you know about it, you're ahead of the game. So, let's pause here for a moment. How many of you right now are rummaging through your drawers, looking through old coin collections, wondering if you might just be sitting on a hidden fortune? Yeah, I know you're all scrambling to grab your old pennies. Hang tight, we're not done yet. Here's where things get serious. So, let's say you find one of these 1965 no mint mark pennies. You've inspected it, and it looks like it could be the real deal. Now what? How do you cash in on this hidden treasure? First, you'll want to have the coin professionally graded. This is where the real value lies. Depending on the grade, the price could vary dramatically. A penny in mint condition, like those stored away carefully for decades, could fetch a whopping price. But even one in good condition, not perfect, can bring in a substantial sum. Now, here's the kicker: timing. The market for rare coins fluctuates, so the longer you wait, the more you risk missing out on peak prices. Right now, the market for the 1965 no mint mark penny is strong. Coin buyers are actively looking for these, which is why it's so important to act fast if you find one. You go to a coin dealer, and after getting the penny graded, you find out that it's worth $879,000. You can either sell it or hold on to it and wait for its value to climb even higher in the future. Either way, you've just turned a small, seemingly insignificant coin into a massive payout. This story isn't over. The market for rare coins is growing, and there are always new opportunities out there. As more collectors get into the game, the value of rare pennies, like the 1965 no mint mark, could skyrocket. What if the next rare penny you find isn't just worth $879,000? What if it's worth even more? And what if there are other pennies out there, right now, just waiting to be discovered? In our next video, I'll reveal even more rare pennies you should be keeping an eye out for. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Oh, you have a $900,000 penny sitting in your coin jar right now? The next time you see a 1965 penny, don't just toss it aside. Give it a closer look. You never know. You might be holding the key to a life-changing fortune. And remember, the world of rare coins is out there, waiting for you to take action. Will you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, or will you dive in and claim your treasure?